Hello, this is Mrs. Duncan, your Humanities 101 instructor, and I do want to say it was nice to meet many of you at the midterm on campus last week, and or the other week, and I'll be getting those midterms graded here shortly and post an announcement about that. It's a busy time of year with midterms and papers, and that brings us to Unit 10. We've had a week in between. And now we are going to do our second essay and shift our attention to the final project, which I won't go into detail here, but we will start bringing that up. I also had sent out an email and told you to make sure you check. So check your email because I sent out a preview of the assignments that were coming, this essay, and the final project, and the descriptions that went with that so you could be aware and be thinking about those. So here we are in Unit 10. And last week we had the music chapter in Unit 9, and then the week before the midterm, Unit 7, we had the theater chapter. So this essay comes from that, whereas the first one was on our art genres. So the assignment is bigger and there's fewer of them. You have this video, that's really it, because you've been given all the instruction on the chapter content, and now you need to use your book and select one of the essay prompts from there, although I have a list. So we'll look at those instructions. And that's really it. There's one other thing to do, and there's a Unit 10 discussion, which is kind of a reflection back on what we've come to at this point, and a little bit of a look ahead. So there's no readings this week, and you're looking at the one lecture. So let's take a look at the assignment, the Unit 10 assignment, which is the essay. Okay, so the instructions are in here. Get those opened up. And let me bump them up just a little bigger. Okay, the same sort of length, it can be a little bit longer than 500. I just don't, need an 800 or 1,000 word essay. But, if you're only giving me 350, it better be really, really good content, and it can't be anything less. Or you just haven't really done anything to get this much credit, okay? So it's got to be, in that ballpark, closer to 500 is best. In an MLA formatted Microsoft Word document, that's going to, if it's not in that, as you found out from the first one, that causes some significant problems and points. That's what was instructed at the beginning, that we use Microsoft Word documents, and for this class we use MLA format, and there's video tutorials that had links before. You can Google or YouTube and find plenty if you still need to brush up on that. You have to respond to one of the prompts that I have below. They're taken from our textbook, which you know by now is just, you can't do the class without the textbook. Everything kind of comes from that, our artwork, our all of our assignments pretty much. Make sure you use good paragraph division. It doesn't have to be a 5-paragraph essay, okay? We're in that smaller zone, but it does need to have logical paragraph division, and it does have to have an introduction, an introductory paragraph that clearly identifies the prompt that you selected from the list below and the actual piece of music or the theater piece that you are examining. Okay, so you've got to be real clear on that and give me specifics. It's better to have more specifics than not enough. Now, when I grade your response, okay, and evaluate that, I do start with the whole basic essay structures to convey your thoughts. It is an essay assignment in MLA format. Then the content, your original is key, well-developed and thoughtful responses to the prompts. And they have to be yours, and the prompts are geared that way. It's not go out and find out what Wikipedia says. This is about you processing a particular aspect of a piece of music or theater based on our study. And so it has to be original. Your use and application of appropriate terminology from the chapter and the use of good grammar and spelling. All those things weigh in to your grade. Now, if you're doing a music prompt, obviously you have to be able to listen to it, okay, in order to address the questions. So all of them should be available to you through YouTube, okay, and you want a quality, performance. You always have more than one option, and I'm pretty sure everything they talk about in here there's a YouTube option for, but you have to at least listen to it. Okay, all right, here's the list, and I'm not going to read all the numbers, but you have to go through. You have 6 options. You pick one. The first 3 are related to theater, okay, at that chapter. And the musical theater is kind of the combination of the two, okay? And then there's two that are on music, on the Negro Spiritual Swing Low, which is on page 237, and then the sonata form, which is discussed on page 239, so the classical one. All right, so the first one on archetypes, I love archetypes. Okay, I used to have a whole essay for humanities that was on archetypes and myths, but they're discussed on page 204, number 2. Okay, and what you'd have to do is you have to be able to read that as part of the chapter and understand what they mean by archetypes. And it's certain, it's similar to type characters, okay, but that's not exactly the same. So this, you would use examples to answer that question from shows, TV shows, or movies, or plays, if you have them, that you're familiar with, okay? So that's what you have to kind of apply there. Type characters from page 213, all three numbers, you know, it's all three, 2, 3, and 4, okay, to answer those. But this one requires some personal experience with theater. So if you don't have that, if you haven't acted in a play or two or been to several, this is probably not a good option for you. So you need to pick one that you know you feel like you can handle. The Swan Song is the play that we have in our textbook by Chekhov, so everybody has access to that. You read the play and then answer 1, 3, 4, and 5 about that play, which is in your textbook. So everybody can do that one. Musical theater, either question 1 or question 2, because it goes into some depth. Plus, this is going to require watching a live or filmed version of a musical, so the time element is a little higher with this one. You got to make sure that it qualifies as musical theater, okay? Some good film versions lately that have been made into movies that would still work is they made Les Miserables, which was a Broadway musical, into a movie last year that stars Hugh Jackman. I'm trying to remember who else that you would know. Amanda, somebody, what's her name? Hold on a second because I have it here. Nope, that's not the right one. Anyway, that's a movie version that would work because they're still singing all of it. It's not really still on a stage, but you know, there's a film version of the Broadway musical, but I don't know how much access you would have to that. You might find something on YouTube. Phantom of the Opera is a Broadway musical that was made into a movie. That might work. The better thing is if you can get a filmed version of as staged, you know, in Broadway, which I don't know how many of those they have. So if you have access to a live one or a filmed version, you know, Sound of Music is somewhat of a filmed musical made to a movie, you might be able to answer the questions adequately with something like that. You know, and I wish I knew there was something going on this week to say, go see this. Swing Low, we move into our music chapter. The music is there. There's a lot of content in our book. You can't, you know, use that, but obviously reading it will help you understand the song better. And then there's a lot of good recordings on YouTube, okay, there. So you either have to answer question 1 or 2, but in addition to that, you have to answer questions 3, 4, and 5. So there's a total of 4 questions there about Swing Low. And then on the sonata form, it's kind of the opposite. Everybody has to do, if you choose this one, number 1, but then you only have to answer 2 or 3, okay? So you get 2 questions on that one. And it has everything to do with, you know, sometimes a question number has multiple questions in it, and others just have 1 or 2, so I try to balance it out. But those are your 6 options, okay? And make sure you follow the directions clearly, and that's the only thing you have to do all week, except for, and there's a link to the assignment Dropbox. And let's see, let's go back, is the discussion board assignment. So there's no quiz, there's no reading, there's just this few minutes of instruction here on this video, and we're about to wrap up. Let's take a look at our discussion board assignment. Scroll down, sorry for going so fast. All right, there it is. It'll be up for you. I'm just asking you to reflect on the following. Just reflect on these 3 things. How has your knowledge, get that out of the way, and appreciation of the arts changed since you began this course? You know, we're 10 weeks in. We're more than halfway. So what has changed in you, and what so far has been your favorite topic or favorite assignment, and why? Okay. And then last, I sent out an email with the things that I have on my list, but I'm giving you a chance to propose a potential different end of the year topic. You kind of see what I have in mind with what I sent out, but here's a chance to give another idea, and if I like it, I might, and you want to do it, I might say, well, you can do that one instead. So uh, that's what number 3 is. Propose an end of the year presentation topic that would require students to do a little research on one or more artists or pieces of artwork. But keep in mind what kind of assignment I'm looking for that focuses on the value, not just, a research project, but something that would show some value. So there's your chance to uh, put out an idea there, and that'll have 35 points, basically 10 for each one. But I do want you 5 for the reading and responding. Okay, well that takes us through unit 10, and hopefully you'll get started on that early, since it is an essay assignment that requires um, some time. Okay, get back down here, ding, bing, bing, and just to look ahead, we have a couple more genres. We'll do photography, then we'll do cinema, and then we'll be shifting focus to our final project, which by then you would have to let me know what you're doing. So we get into November, and then we have some things that kind of go with that, like how it kind of goes together. Is it art in a relationship? And then the final project, and whoops, that's not supposed to be there. And then after that, the week after that is final exams. And you get a little extra week over fall break. Okay, well that's all I have for you. If you have questions, please send me an email early in the week, and I'll help you best I can.